There's one psychological pattern that creates permanent addiction and avoidance that has nothing to do with playing games or manipulation tactics. When you master this specific approach, you become the person they can never forget, never replace, and never stop craving. It's not about making yourself unavailable. It's about creating a unique emotional experience that their psychology becomes dependent on and can never find anywhere else. See through their walls without trying to tear them down. The key is to acknowledge their emotional walls while making it clear you're not threatened by them or trying to demolish them. Most people either ignore avoidant defenses completely or make it their mission to break them down. You do neither. You see their walls, understand why they exist, and love them anyway without needing those walls to disappear. This approach is addictive because it's the first time someone has ever made them feel safe with their defenses intact. You're not trying to change them or fix them, you're simply seeing them completely and accepting what you see. This creates psychological safety they've never experienced before. When you demonstrate that you can love them without needing them to be different, you become irreplaceable. They realize that their walls don't have to come down to be loved, which paradoxically makes them want to lower those walls voluntarily. You become the only person who doesn't make their defenses feel necessary. Provide emotional regulation without creating dependency. Offer them the calming, stabilizing presence they desperately need without making them feel obligated to reciprocate or become dependent. Your energy naturally regulates their nervous system, making them feel more peaceful and grounded when you're around, but you never use this power to control them or create obligation. This emotional regulation is like a drug to avoidance because it helps them access emotional states they can't achieve on their own. Being around you makes them feel more balanced, less anxious, and more connected to themselves. But because you don't demand anything in return for providing this service, it feels like a gift rather than a transaction. They become addicted to how they feel around you because your presence allows them to experience emotional peace without having to give up their autonomy or independence. You become their safe harbor where they can rest without feeling trapped or obligated. Mirror their attachment style perfectly. Instead of trying to pull them into anxious or secure attachment patterns, you match their avoidant style with such precision that being around you feels effortless and natural. You give them space when they need it, independence when they crave it, and connection only when they're genuinely available for it. This mirroring creates an addictive experience because they've never been with someone who doesn't try to change their natural rhythms and patterns. You work with their psychology rather than against it, which makes the relationship feel sustainable and comfortable in ways they've never experienced. When you perfectly match their attachment style, they don't have to fight for their autonomy or defend their need for space. You understand their patterns intuitively and respond in ways that support rather than threaten their psychological makeup. This creates a relationship dynamic they can never find with anyone else. Be genuinely indifferent to their approval. Demonstrate complete indifference to whether they like you, approve of you, or choose to be with you. Your sense of self-worth and happiness doesn't fluctuate based on their attention or validation. You enjoy their company when they're available, but you're equally content when they're not. This genuine indifference is intoxicating to avoidance because they've never encountered someone who truly doesn't need their approval or validation. Everyone else tries to win them over, impress them, or earn their affection. You simply exist as yourself, without any agenda related to their opinion of you. Your indifference to their approval makes you psychologically fascinating because it means they can't control you through withholding or granting their attention. You become the one person they can't manipulate, which makes you infinitely more valuable than people they can easily influence. Stimulate their mind without overwhelming their heart. Engage them intellectually and psychologically in ways that satisfy their need for mental stimulation without triggering their emotional overwhelm responses. You can have deep, meaningful conversations and explore complex topics without making everything about feelings or relationship dynamics. This intellectual connection feeds their need for substantial interaction while respecting their emotional boundaries. You provide the depth they crave without the emotional intensity they fear, creating a perfect balance that keeps them engaged without triggering their flight response. They become addicted to conversations with you because you can go deep without going into emotional territory that makes them uncomfortable. You satisfy their need for meaningful connection while respecting their need for emotional safety and control. Demonstrate mysterious depth without emotional demands. Reveal layers of yourself gradually and naturally without using vulnerability as a tool to create intimacy or obligation. You share your thoughts, experiences, and perspectives when it feels natural, but never with the expectation that they should reciprocate or that sharing creates deeper commitment. This mysterious depth is addictive because it gives them something to discover and explore without pressure to match your level of openness. You're fascinating and complex without being emotionally demanding, which satisfies their need for intellectual stimulation while respecting their emotional limitations. They become obsessed with understanding you better because you reveal yourself in ways that intrigue rather than overwhelm them. You're the puzzle they want to solve but never feel pressured to solve, which makes the exploration feel exciting rather than obligatory. Create unique shared experiences they can't replicate. Develop activities, conversations, or connections that are specifically tailored to their interests and psychology in ways that no one else could replicate. These might be intellectual pursuits, creative projects, or shared adventures that play to their specific strengths and preferences. These unique experiences become emotionally significant because they can't have them with anyone else. You become associated with parts of themselves they can only access when they're with you, making your presence feel essential to their psychological well-being and self-expression. The exclusivity of these shared experiences creates psychological dependence because they realize that losing you means losing access to parts of themselves and experiences that no one else can provide. You become irreplaceable not because you're perfect, but because what you offer is unique. The permanent addiction formula. When you combine perfect psychological compatibility with zero emotional pressure, you create an addictive experience that avoidance can never forget or replace. You become the person who understood them completely without trying to change them, loved them without needing them, and connected with them without overwhelming them. The addiction isn't to drama or intensity, it's to peace, understanding, and acceptance they've never found anywhere else and will spend the rest of their life trying to recreate.